Good morning to all, and it is a pleasure to be connected even in the lockdown through virtual media. It's so sad that social animal human beings are forced to distance, maintain a social distance between themselves. And at least now, hope we all realize that we are part of our environment and not try to alter and be a part of it and coexist with that and get into action to save it. We all say that there is a transformation of the Chennai from Madrasapatnam to Chennai. There was a long development or the changes which we have been seeing it through decades. And when we talk with the current generation, we may not, they may not be able to know what the Chennai was before and what we have lost now. And we may all say that we have rivers and all those things, but current generation says there is no rivers in Chennai. Chennai, the one which they see, uh, the drainage, they call it as a sewage, major sewage drainage systems. So before I start my talk, I would like to quote the Tiruvulluvar, a saint and the poet in Sangam period, who had said, I quote, "Mani நீரும் மண்ணும் மலையும் அணிநிழற் காடும் உடையது அரண்." I unquote. He says that crystal clear water, open land, mountains, and beauteous shady forest are the fort to a country. And we are blessed to see all these four elements in our Chennai city. But what have we done to that? Let's pass let's pass on our journey back in 17th century. You can see this photograph where you can see a Buckingham Canal where a boat is been sailing, transporting the fire woods, and along the banks you can see some shrubs, like this is the pungam tree, and this you can see pandanus, that is the talambu, the famous Madras kadambam flowers is added with this talambu flowers, but I don't think we can see it now. And this one is a Pallavaram lake, a lovely scenic thing. You can see the palmera trees and the banyan tree on the banks. And this is a Nungambakam High Road. Now we cannot imagine such kind of diversity which we had along the road. You can see most of them are coastal trees like Puvarasam and the people tree. And this is the Mowbray's Road. And these roads were just adjacent to the agriculture paddy fields. And one may surprise was this Mowbray's Road was once a agricultural land. And now see the adjacent to the Adayar, you can see farmers are plowing their lands, and all adjacent to the Adayar river, like Gandhinagar, uh, Besanagar, were all like agricultural land. Indranagar were all agricultural land, and you can see lots of coconut trees and palmera trees. And in the Adayar river, you can see fishermen in catamarans. They used to fish, and they needn't have to go all the way inside the deep oceans to fish their daily food, as well as to sell in the local market. And you can see a cast net. A fisherman is casting there. At the This is at the background of Theosophical Society. And this again is a Tiralli Keni. That is Alli Keni means, Keni means it's a water body or the open well, and Alli means it is the lotus, that is the lilies. So Tiruvalli, since it is a pilgrimage location, it is prefixed with Tiru. So Tiruvallikeni, it is a pond with lilies, but we don't have a pond now. And see the Kuam River in the past. It was just a freshwater where the river was used as a transport media, and you can see the boats or the canoes made out of local bioresources, and the river water was used for irrigation. And see the latest thing in the below picture, how we have encroached and how we have dumped the trash. We have to thank the current project which is being executed through CRRT, that the Tamil Nadu government has initiated to remove all these encroachments, and it is being done. Now the situation is far more better than the one which you are seeing here. And this one, you may think it is a scene from a remote village, but this is just the Nungambakam village, and this is a temple adjoining the a big water body. Now you can't see that. Instead, you can see Tiruvallur Kotam on this place, and just behind the Tiruvallur Kotam, you can still see this small temple, but not these trees anymore, and the lake. The vanished lake, which I was talking about, the Nungambakam, it is the long tank and Nungambakam lake, which you can see it here. That long tank and the Nungambakam lake existed between the Adyar River, the Saidapet, up to uh, Loyola College, where we see now. So now, if you can you imagine that this has been lost, and it was reduced to certain extents in the name of the urbanization, and we landfilled and created a lot of human habitations, and now the Google map shows no trace of this water body. So this is how the urbanization is being happening without any forevision. Or this one is the Pallavaram Lake, which I showed the last in previous slides. Now the lake is all this lake is also vanishing, but we have been mute spectators. And this is a huge resource for water. These are all the water bodies or the reservoirs which harvest natural harvest setting structures of rainwaters. And first victims of this urbanization is the trees. This happened very recently in a OMR where huge, more than 90 years old trees have been cut to give a for a university which is going to come up, which is already existing there in OMR Road. And this is Kodungayur Lake. This is again a very large lake in the north Chennai, and this was feeding water for the other agriculture activities which was existing there. But now lot of industries have taken over the land, and now this remnant of lake is being dumped, and a sewage treatment plant is on its way on this lake, and another portion of this lake is being used as dump yard. So very soon this will also vanish from our map and from the city, of course. You can see the huge landfills, and you can see the in the long in the background you can see lots of palmera tree. which was a huge bioresource and a good uh,
One moment. I'll just try it. Okay.
a good resource for livelihood for local economy is just waiting them to see their doomsday. And now we see that there's lots of funds and is being pumped in smart city. Are we really smart? That is a big question. This photos will tell you how smart we are. This road, the left hand top where a two-wheeler is be seen, you can see that is a Besant Avenue, and you have two sides platforms which goes through the theosophical wooded area, and you can the platform is made out of interlocking tiles which allows the rainwater to percolate in, and it was being put very recently, and within a year or two it has been removed, and they have concretized these payments and to form a walker's track as if they cannot walk on these existing pavement. And now the bottom thing you can see a board stating that uh, நடைபாதை நடப்பதற்கே. See, but is it possible for a pedestrian to walk on this pavement, which is being put through these smart city projects? And I don't know how much funds will get drained like this. And we have been mute spectators to these uh, devastating projects. We can see that Chennai coast. This is the place where our seafood is being harvested or landed. This is the Raipuram Kasimedu fishing harbor. You can see the trash, the plastic trash, and how unhygienic the coast, Chennai coast is. Actually, British admired our coast and came and made this Chennai as a power of seat of power. But now, what have we done to those uh, coast? And you can see here the foreshore estate. Actually, the beach had a buffer area of sandy beach, and beyond that there was a road, and on the other side of the road there was a village, and fishermen used to travel cross the road and then go to the sea to fish their fishes. But now, because of the urbanization and there is a boom in real estate, these fishermen have been pushed towards the seashore, and they've started settling on the seashore itself. And you can see how dangerously they have been living there even after post tsunamis, which we haven't learned a lesson after such bitter experiences. And you can see this one is Kotiwakam beach in a hamlet where there is no drainage system, because already the fisherman has been pushed to the edge of the shore. So there it is impossible to have a sewage pipelines to be laid. So they have been letting onto the sandy beaches itself, destroying the habitat, that is the beach sandy beach habitats. And how what we have doing it as individuals, we are just creating, converting these beaches as a entertainment zone, but at the same time converting it into a trash yards. And now beaches are becoming a cricket stadiums. You can see a concrete structure cricket pitch has been laid there. We have seen such a beautiful beaches with shells on the beaches and litter free sandy beaches in our childhood, but the present status is very, very pathetic. And you can see the diversity of insects. We may think insects are seen only in the forest or in the land area, not in the coastal beach or sandy beaches. These are the insects which dwell there in the sandy beaches. So they are the habitat for many diversified living communities over there. But we have destroyed for our pleasure. And see the
నేను మనకు చెప్పేసింది ఒక ఐడియా అటు కొట్టారప్పుడు వస్తుంది అది కూడా మాకు తెలుసా
see the
అమ్మి అడుగు అట్లా
signature
తీసుకున్నా
of the animals on the beach. I think there is a disturbance. Hello? Yeah.
Host can unmute everybody. Mute everybody.
Yeah, I request everyone to mute.
Now continue, sir. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Yeah. We can see the signatures. I don't know how many of you have seen these marvelous paintings or the artworks created by the each living community dwelling on the seashore in intertidal zones and mudflats in estuaries. Now we can only see the burrows of rodents because most of the beaches have become a food court, and we have started dumping the food waste, and we have uh, deprived or chased away these creatures from these beaches who are the owners of that habitat. This is the another big pollution which we have been neglecting it and not speaking much about it. That is about the light pollution. You can see this, the huge illumination, artificial illumination being lit for tournaments on the beach, like beach volleyballs, beach frisbees. Frisbees can be played only on the beaches, no doubt about it. But when? That is a big question, because it has to be played in the daylight and not in the night with artificial illumination. But we forget that illumination will have a huge impact on the creatures or the living communities who inhabits on the beach and the oceans and the coastal waters nearby. And it will have a big impact, negative impact on their feeding and breeding and migration behaviors, because they are all phototactic, photosensitive things which they their psychology, their physiology is tuned with the natural photo period, that is 12 hours light, that is daylight and night. It is always on the biorhythms, like lunar uh, light is more important in their well-being. But such artificial illuminations will impact their existence itself. And now we see the beach. Besides illuminating, we have started encroaching and concretizing the beach. And sandy beaches are a buffer, and it is a natural aquifer which absorbs the water and enhances the groundwater table and prevents the groundwater salination and makes available for our usage as well as to the vegetations along the shore. But now I think we will lose almost we have already lost, but we will lose the existing vegetations there. And we are exposing ourselves to the catastrophic waves and other natural disasters triggered by human activity, that is the anthropogenic activities. Now you can see this Elliot's Beach. We can walk on the roads, we can walk on the pavements, and we can very well walk on the sandy beaches. But I do not know, in the name of beautification. The sandy beaches, the sands in the sandy beaches are being removed, and it is being replaced with some other uh, inland soil, and creating or converting the changing the entire profile of the beach profile. So, and concretizing it. So we cannot create sandy beaches, but what right we have to replace a sandy beach into a concrete beach? I really no, feel very pity. At the same time, the beach users and the local residents, most of them are insensitive towards this because of ignorance of the ecosystem, the role of this fragile ecosystem which protects us. And you can see the coastal line in Chennai. We have salt pans where again it is a alternate livelihood for the coastal community of creating and producing salt. And you can see on the right hand side top image, you can the coconut grooves, and you can see the hypomia creeper and spinifex, that is we call it as Ravana mise. The seeds will look like a fireball, like corona shape, which we are familiar with the spikes in a spherical form, and they disperse in wind and create. And these are there for a purpose. They protect our sand dunes, and you can see the sand dunes here, just 3/4 height of the palmyra tree behind, and you can see the talambu, that pandanus, which prevents the soil erosion. And again, this is an indicator species of a healthy groundwater ecosystem prevailing in that area. But these are things which are not in very far in any remote areas. It is just within our city limits. This is in the Uttandi areas, and you can see a MGM amusement park behind this sand dunes. And very soon these sand dunes will be flattened for real estate. And we don't see it now. The phenophyx, that is the Ravana mise and the Hypomia creeper, which you saw before, that was 3 years before. Now you can see the coastal